Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Welcome to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. Good evening, dear students. And today we are on the verge of finishing paper number 5, MA English, block number 2. I am over here, Dr. Ushma A. Bhatt from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. I am an assistant professor, as you know, and today we are again going to finish the last part of Aristotle's Poetics. So let's study the critical analysis of Aristotle's Poetics. Now this would be the last session for Aristotle's Poetics, block number 2. Again afterwards we are going to see block number 7 in the next session, but today let's go for the last part. The final part of criticism. Previously we had already discussed the meaning of the criticism, Aristotle, his other works, and Plato even is discussed, and now this is the final session about Poetics. So main thing about Poetics that which we are going to learn, that is about the plot construction, setting, theme, thematic part, characters, tragedy and epic. These are the 6 main parts which we are going to learn, and that we have to see in presentation, PowerPoint presentation which I had made for you people, and that let us start studying that PPT. Look, you can see that it is a paper number 5 and Theory and Criticism and block 2 Aristotle's Poetics. Now let's go for the 6 main parts which I had already discussed in the previous session, as well as I discussed it in the first session also. When we had started the first session, there also I had discussed all these 6 parts. Aristotle's Poetics has often been held as the most important piece of literature for understanding and writing narrative form. If you want to understand basic story structure, this is the place to start. So if a person is interested, if student is interested to learn the parts of Poetics, they are plot, character, theme, diction, music and spectacle. Look, first point is what is happening in the story. Plot construction that happens in the story, which could be elaborated as plot, could be elaborated as how the action develops in the story, that goes with plot. Then there is the information about character, who is doing the action. Whatever the actions are constrained in the work of art, they are led by some character, and that's why one has to study what is the importance of character. Then comes theme. What do the actions in the story mean to the audience? How the audience understands the particular work of art, that is related with theme. Theme is also known to be the moral understanding of the work of art. Then comes diction. How is the dialogue used to reveal character and their environment? So we can say that the diction is also connected with the words, how the words are used, what is the utilization of the vocabulary. So diction could be taken as the part of dictionary. As there is a dictionary word, the short form of that particular word dictionary could be understood with this particular point, diction. Then there comes music. What does the musical element, or how the musical element reveal about the plot? What is the importance of music? Because previously, as we had discussed in the first and second session, that Aristotle's Poetics and Greco-Roman literature the ancient literature is connected with dramas, and naturally when the ancient literature is connected with dramas, there is an importance of music. Music is very much involved, it is very much found in Greco-Roman ancient dramas. Spectacle, what does the visual impact and how the visual impact is revealed in this particular word spectacle. So all these 6 points are very much important to understand for the understanding purpose of the narrative work of art. Basically two main genres could be studied with the help of Aristotle's Poetics. One is tragedy, tragic drama, and another is epic. So you have to remember these two main points. Now look, the most important points which are going to be remembered for the purpose of choice based credit system questions, multiple choice based questions. They could ask certain questions. The Poetics was penned in 335 BC. As previously we had seen the dates of Aristotle and Plato. In the same way here, these are the important dates. A short treatise of 26 chapters and 45 pages. It is deeply focused on tragedy, epic, and catharsis. Catharsis is a kind of it is one kind of a situation that happened in the work of art. So it could not be considered with the plot with tragedy or epic or poetry or any genre. It is not a genre. It's not a one kind of form, but it is the situation that happens. It's a kind of a thing that happens in the work of art. What is ignored, that is also listed over here. Lyric poetry, narrative poetry, comedy, descriptive poetry, and nature poetry. The poetry which could be considered with a pastoral element, which were found in the romanticism, in the romantic literature, they are completely ignored, or they are completely not taken in Aristotle's Poetics. The Poetics is thought-provoking intellectual achievement of Greek, which could be considered Hellenic literature, ancient literature also. The style of Poetics is telegraphic and highly concentrated. Look, here are the important points which you have to understand clearly. Often there are signs of hesitation and uncertainty in terminology. So when there is hesitation or uncertainty, they are displayed in a tragedy, in a work of art. It is fitted for Greek dramas and contemporary time, yet it is obscure to be considered for universal application. So when a person is thinking that okay, I want to implement Aristotle's Poetics in a new tragic drama, in a new tragic film, in the cinemas, in the Hindi movies, Bollywood movies, or in any Hollywood movies, then it could not be done. Aristotle's Poetics could be implemented based on Greco-Roman tragedies basically. He studies poetry, Aristotle, he studies poetry in relation to man, psychological as the instinct of harmony and as the instinct of imitation. These are the two main psychic patterns, or these are the two main psychological craving that happened, or psychological activity that brain was doing, that is the instinct of harmony and instinct of imitation, which is found, or which is already studied by Aristotle, and that through that, or with that particular point of view, he had elaborated his Poetics. He studies poetry in relation to man's psychological situation, psychological trauma. Tragedy is equal to emotional effects. Look again, here there is a display of tragedy as a word, and it is concerned with emotional effects. There is the best definition, if you know, that when the characters are doing the best imitation of the real life, it is known as tragedy, and when the characters are doing the worst imitation of the genuine real life, it is known as comedy. These are the genuine definitions which are found in most of the literature works, and that is the general definition for the tragedy, which could be implemented over here, because the best imitation of the real life is known as emotional presentation, and that's why it is written over here, tragedy is equal to emotional effects. The poetics is the inquiry done with historical method. Look, historical method in the sense poetics deals with plot construction, spectacle, diction, theme, and the other parts, setting, and other parts which we discussed previously in the second or third slide. So that is again here mentioned about historical method. The miracle of the poetics is that it contains so much that is of permanent and universal interest. Aristotle's poetics deals with universality, it deals with infiniteness, it deals with the work of art which could be a memorable piece of work which is having the universal effect, and that's why it is written over here that it has permanence and universal value. The work is full of ideas that are true for today as was in past. As for example, the Hindu person, the human being who lives in India would never forget about Ramayana and Mahabharata, and in the same way the poetics discusses over here or gives us the idea that those things or those work of art which could be never which could never be forgotten, they are included in this value of permanence and universal interest. Now look, this is a general review of the original piece of Aristotle's Poetics, the glance of the Poetics, what were the chapterization in that particular genuine book of Aristotle's Poetics. I have found that image from the Google. You also can see it, and it could be read also. Imitation, the common principle of all arts, medium of imitation, the objects of imitation, tragedy and comedy, the manner of imitation, epic and tragedy, origin and development of poetry, definition of the ridiculous, epic and tragedy, definition of tragedy, its formative parts, plot construction, unity of the plot, the nature of poetic truth, poetry and history, kinds of plot, simple and complex, peripetia, anagnorisis and suffering, quantitative parts of tragedy, the structure of a perfect tragedy, ideal tragic hero, comparative study of spectacle and plot as a source of tragic emotions, character and its four essential points, recognition and its kinds, some practical rules for the guidance of poets and dramatists, kinds of tragedy, thought in tragedy, diction and style, and the epic and tragedy, objections of critics and Aristotle's answer, epic and tragedy, and the superiority of tragedy. All these are the points, as I told you previously that there were 26 chapters, and these are the 26 chapters that you could see in Roman writing, in Roman numbers. They are presented over here. The titles are presented over here. These are the titles of the 26 chapters which are included in Aristotle's Poetics. Now look, this is the most important feature or the important point which you should have to remember about Poetics, what it says or what is clearly mentioned regarding the poetry. Heroic or epic poetry, satiric poetry. Look, here heroic poetry is related with hymns and panegyrics, and satiric poetry deals with iambs and invectives. Tragedy and comedy both are written over here. Tragedy deals with heroic or epic poetry, and comedy deals with satiric poetry. Tragedy is the highest poetic form, imitation is the common to all art form, and tragedy imitates men as better and comedy as worse than they really are. As I told you, the genuine real imitation of the real life is known as tragedy, and the worst imitation of the real life is comedy. Tragedy with serious subjects, its superiority to epics. Here we are putting much more stress on tragedy only, so you should have to remember that Aristotle's Poetics deals with tragedy. Comedy is just mentioned over here to show the differentiations which happens in tragedy and comedy. That's why only here we mention comedy. Otherwise we can go much more in the study of comedy in the forthcoming chapters of Dryden, or in the forthcoming chapters which are related with the theories of other dramatists, other writers who had mentioned and criticized comedy, like John Dryden, which we are going to study in the forthcoming block. Look, this is the picture of Greek tragedy, as we have to study Aristotle's Poetics, and its main focus is epic and tragedy. So you can see this picture of Greek tragedy. Now let's go for the parts which are included in epics that are found similarly in tragedy also, but the parts of tragedy are spectacle, chorus, music, audience, stage, verse and song, which are not included in epics. So as I told you that tragedy and epic are very much important to be studied in his Poetics. Here again there is a mentioning about tragedy which is included in the drama, tragic drama, and epics did not contain all these points: spectacle, chorus, music, audience, stage, verse, song. Most of the points could be found, but maybe some of the points are missing in epics. As for example, epic is a kind of a long, big, descriptive poetry which has many digressions, many characters, and it is of grandeur quality. So naturally epic does not contain stage, it does not contain audience, and naturally it does not contain music. Even it has the music, it has the stage, and it has the audience if it is presented in a cinematic form. As for example, you people might have seen, some of you might have seen the presentation of Ramayana and Mahabharata through Doordarshan channels while there was COVID pandemic was going on. Doordarshan channel was presenting you both the epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, in an episodic form, in serial form on the television. So epic is mostly constrained in books, and drama is mostly the matter of stage. So this is the biggest difference between tragedy in the sense epic and drama. Definition of tragedy: the imitation of an action, serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude in a language, beautified in different parts with different kinds of embellishment, through actions and not narration, and through scenes of pity and fear, bringing about the catharsis of this or such emotions. Look, the definition of tragedy deals with much more understanding of the word catharsis. Catharsis means the purgation. When a person watches a particular movie and he feels pity or he feels fearful, if you are watching a horror movie, Conjuring, and you certainly feel that you need to call the parents, or you want to see the family members, and you want to switch on the lights if your room is dark and you are feeling fearful. This is the genuine feeling of catharsis. Catharsis means purgation. Purgation in the sense emotions of pity and fear come out when a person watches the movie or stage show or the drama, or when a person reads the book, epic, any chapter of epic. So the catharsis is the actual word which could be mentioned in the definition of tragedy. The first part is imitation, and the second part is with functioning and emotional effects of the tragedy. First part goes with, it doesn't go with narration, but it is a kind of a medium, and objects and manner of imitation, they become the important factor in this understanding of the tragedy. So definition of tragedy must be remembered over here with the word catharsis. Look, the importance of song, chorus, verse and soliloquies. Soliloquies are individual dialogues of the characters. If you find this word soliloquy and if you write Shakespearean soliloquy, naturally you will see hundreds of soliloquies on Google platform, and there you would find the best dialogues of individual dialogues of Hamlet, or the individual dialogues of this Othello or King Lear, in that way. So soliloquies are very much important to be studied in the dramas basically. The word serious means here weighty and magnitude. Look, this weighty and magnitude is very much deliberately presented by Aristotle. He means to say that magnitude means the character of the tragedy or the character of the epic must be of grandeur quality. He should have noble values. He should have the values which could not be compared with the ordinary common human being, but he must be a heroic kind of a person, coming from the best kind of family, maybe the royal family, the aristocratic family, coming from the higher class or the superior class, and he should be having the qualities which were not found in the ordinary common human beings. So this magnitude deals with the characters also, magnitude deals with the high supreme quality of the work of art also, magnitude deals with the memorability of that particular work of art also. If you think about a particular work which you never forget, then naturally it has a capacity of or it has a potential of magnitude. Beginning, middle and end means whole. Beginning must be self-explanatory, middle must be natural, and end means catastrophe. These are the three stages, means three sections or three parts which could be found in the tragedy or it could be found in the epic. As for example, the beginning is about the self-explanation, middle part is a natural common part, and the end should show the catastrophe or end should present the sudden twist or that sudden things that could happen in the climax that is represented over here. That's what it means. Plot must be of some length as per the memory. Look, simple and complex, two kinds of plots Aristotle mentioned over here. Complex contains both peripecia and anagnorisis, and simple plot has unity of plot. It is an organic kind of a plot where nothing superfluous or not even any patches, just like living organism and organic unity. So simple plot deals with the beginning, middle and end of the drama, or beginning, middle and end of the story, and this complex plot deals with peripecia and anagnorisis. These are the two main things which are very much important in Aristotle's Poetics. So we have to learn that peripecia and anagnorisis, that which we are going to take afterwards. Look, Prospero and Ariel in King Lear. So here this is the picture of Prospero, you know that, and there is one character Ariel also who had been shown in this picture. Action must be complete and action of the plot must be in accordance with the laws of probability and necessity. So the principle of natural causation and action. Look, the main thing about the plot is mentioned over here. It is about the cause and action. However, the reason or the cause happens, in the same way the action should deal with. The change in the hero's fortunes takes place when it involves one or the other or both. The hero's life is having a twisted turn, or there is a sudden twist in his life only due to the particular important cause. Cause becomes a very important factor in the change of the life of a hero. There should each of them arise out of structure of the plot itself, so as to be the consequence necessary or probable. So probability and consequence consequences are very much important. Probability shows that if these particular things happen, that's why the hero has done a mistake. As for example, in the case of Othello, you know the story of Othello, that as he found the handkerchief in Desdemona's cabin, and the same handkerchief was found in Cassio's hands, that's why he was very much disturbed and he took a rash action. So probability is about the particular things which are in a proper format, and for that proper things which had already happened, there is a next action which becomes the cause of the main event. So probability, cause and consequences, all the three of them, they go together to create a complex plot. Look here, there is a mentioning about against episodic plots which has events and incidents, a peripecia and discovery, the change of one situation within the play to its opposite of the kind. A discovery means the change from ignorance to knowledge. The best thing is peripecia emancipates to discovery. Peripecia will arouse either pity or fear, and actions of that nature being what tragedy is assumed to represent. Peripecia deals with action and drama. Moreover, discovery deals with characters, hero or other party. The third is suffering, which may define destructive or painful. Peripecia means reversals and discoveries means anagnorisis. Look, these two things are very important. Peripecia deals with reverse of action, and discovery means anagnorisis. Discovery means the hero comes to understand that, oh, he has done a mistake. As for example, in the case of Othello, he came to understand that he had killed his wife and it was a mistake. She was innocent, Desdemona was innocent. So these are the two things which you have to remember. Okay, thank you very much, and you can write your comments and you can ask questions also. God bless you all. Thank you.